Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, and I was thinking today about something that I talked to Michelle Alexander about the other day, and it had to do with the war on drugs and reparations. A lot of people think that, some people think I'm crazy when I keep saying that we need to have a conversation about reparations and the war on drugs, and the reason is because in order for us to really move forward as a country, in order for us to really pursue meaningful racial healing, we have to talk about reparations. You can't apologize for something you did wrong and then act like you didn't do it or act like there's not damage to be repaired. The only way you can come to that illogical conclusion is if you somehow believe that there is no damage that needs to be repaired. If you somehow believe that the actions that you committed in the past still don't have an effect. And I think if you look around and you look at the African American community and you see the devastation that's been caused, particularly from slavery and Jim Crow, but also more recently on the war on drugs, you'll see that there's a huge wealth gap. I mean, at the start of the Obama presidency, black wealth was about 1/10 that of whites, which is really bad. Toward the middle of the Obama presidency, it went from 1/10 to 1/50th, and so basically, black people don't have much wealth, and much of that is not because we're lazy. It's not because we throw our money away. I mean, those are problems, but the real problem is that for 400 years, we were not allowed to accumulate wealth. Our wealth was stolen from us, and that's clearly documented. That clearly happened. You can go deeper into educational inequality, and the fact that our kids can't get a decent education because the public schools are supported on a tax base, which is usually pretty weak in urban communities because of things that have been done in the past, because wealth was not built in those communities. So you can go down the list. And so one of the things that Michelle Alexander and I agreed on, and she sent me a text, and I texted her back and I said, this is something that I'm interested in. I want to keep talking about this, is that there should be reparations, not just for what happened during slavery and Jim Crow, but also for what happened in the war on drugs. The war on drugs was very similar, in my opinion, to the fugitive slave laws, where you had a set of arbitrary laws that were put in place that were designed to maximally incarcerate African Americans, primarily for economic benefit of the majority population. The fugitive slave laws, basically, if you recall, it's where they created a law that said that you can go anywhere and grab slaves in the North or anywhere and bring them back, and so people were fabricating things. They were incarcerating slaves black people that weren't slaves, and slave owners were basically saying to the bounty hunters, look, just go get a slave. We don't care. Just bring me back a black person and we'll work out the paperwork after that. So they were literally kidnapping black people from their families and forcing them into slavery. Well, I think that now, with the war on drugs, you had things like the crack to powder disparity, which basically said that if you have a certain amount of powder cocaine and a certain amount of crack, that your sentence for the crack would be 100 times greater than your sentence for the powder, which basically created a mass criminalization of black people. Any chart that you look at that shows incarceration rates in the United States shows that around the Sentence Reform Act, around 1986, the incarceration rate just skyrocketed. And what makes it worse is that not only was this a shame on the entire United States, but this was especially painful because most of the people that were being incarcerated came from a small segment of the American population, the African American community. And so now we're dealing with all kinds of chaos in the communities. We're dealing with broken families. We're dealing with severe mental illness. We're dealing with incredible amounts of dysfunction, all kinds of inequality, economic, education, and otherwise, as a result of the war on drugs. So you saw last year where I had the campaign with Russell Simmons, where we got 175 celebrities and public figures to sign a letter to the president to ask them to address this issue, and the White House did respond. I want to say thank you for that. There's more to do, but thank you. But even deeper than that, we need to talk about reparations. The fact is that you can't do this kind of economic devastation and socioeconomic devastation and not feel that you have something to repay. So anybody who wants us to just hold hands, sing kumbaya, move forward, and act like it never happened, they're delusional. They don't care about racial healing. They certainly don't care about racial equality. They certainly don't care about equity. They don't care about justice. They don't care about reality. I believe that reparations are necessary for the war on drugs, and if you think you can disprove me, then please feel free to try to do that. But the fact is that there's a debt that needs to be repaid because a lot of people are benefiting right now, today, from the things that were done to us in the past. So that's all I want to say. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. Thank you for checking us out at yourblackworld.com. And until we meet again, please stay strong, be blessed, and be educated. I am gone. Peace.